Hey, welcome back to RHD Godzilla. So today we're going to put in the LRBspeed battery relocation kit for the RX-7. So here it is. I haven't unboxed it yet, so let's just kind of do a quick unboxing and see what all is in here. I also got some new battery terminals to put on, so to help clean up the other ones. The other ones are old and just kind of messed up a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and unbox this thing and see what all's in here. It shouldn't be too hard to put in, but we'll see. Okay, so I've already opened it. Haven't taken anything out yet though. Let's see. And that looks like the actual tie down pieces and the bolts. That's the tie down for the battery. And this looks like it's the bottom piece that goes to the actual, not really frame, but the body of the car. And then the battery sits here, and then the other pieces I just had sit on top and fasten everything down. See if there's anything else in here. Alright, so that looks like it, just the piece that goes to the body, the hardware, instructions, and the actual tie down for the battery. Let's open this thing up here. Pretty nice little thank you card. The hardware, nuts, bolts, the riv nuts, the sticker, and then the instructions. So should be pretty straightforward to install. Okay. So some of the tools that you're going to need is a flashlight, ratchet, a set of wrenches and sockets, which I don't have sitting up here, but a drill and a riv nut tool. You can buy the tool from LRB. However, I needed one, so I had to, my other one broke, so I needed one anyways for other projects and stuff. So I just went ahead and bought a nicer one. However, you can buy it from them. So yeah, so that's basically all you'll need: wrenches, drill, flashlight, riv nut tool, and that's basically it. So we're gonna go ahead and get set up and get started, and I'll be right back. So as you can see, it's kind of dark in the RX-7. There's not much room behind the seats, even when you push this seat all the way forward. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take the seat out, which is pretty straightforward, just 4 bolts. Then I'm also going to take the bin completely out, and there's underneath this is the fiberglass kind of covers or trim pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those out as well, just to make it easier to work in there. As you can see, the battery relocation that I have in here now isn't very safe, I guess you could say. It's not strapped down. It's in this generic plastic battery box, which would work if I was able to actually mount the battery and hold it in place. But if I was ever to get into an accident or something like that, that battery potentially could go flying around, and that wouldn't be good. So putting this new setup in is going to make it safe, a lot cleaner, but more importantly, a lot safer. So first thing I'm gonna do is get these seats taken out, and then that'll give me tons of room to work, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, so the first step to removing the seats is we gotta get these 4 bolts out. There's one here, there's one right up in here, and then behind the seats, you can't really see it, but down in here on both sides as well. Pretty straightforward. It's a 14 millimeter. So just need to take those out, and then the seat can come out. All right, so now we got all 4 bolts removed. All we gotta do is grab from here, grab from the front, and lift it up and remove the seat. So one thing you wanna do is make sure when you pull your seat out that you don't hit these windows and scratch your tent or break your windows. It's a little tricky sometimes. This door is fairly big, so it's not too bad to get out. And then also some seats underneath them will have airbags and all that stuff. Fortunately, I don't have to deal with that, but this one. All right, and also another thing is it's also a good time to fix any issues you might have underneath the seat that you want to do, whether it's running and hiding wiring or vacuuming. In this case, I'll just be vacuuming. Not too much to fix underneath there right now. So, all right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the power to the car, remove the cables out of the way, and then I will remove the battery case, and then I will go ahead and fit the new mount in place before I remove all this, just to make sure that everything mounts where it should. It should, because it's actually cut for this car, but I'd rather do that than have to put everything back together and do it that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything removed, and then we'll get it start installing everything. All right, so I've already turned the power off to the car, so now I just need to disconnect the battery cables and lift the battery out. So we'll start by doing that. Disconnect the negative terminal first. All right, everything's disconnected. I'm gonna go ahead and lift the battery out. So I'm gonna need to disconnect this so I can push this wiring back through here, which I'll probably shorten up this ground cable as well. So the next thing I got to do is get these 4 bolts. As you can see, 2 of them are pretty decent size. These 2 are small little ones. So this thing's just not a very safe and proper way to do this. So that's why I want to replace this. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. So So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'll get this removed, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the battery box taken out, and as you can see, there's a ton of just junk down in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, get it vacuumed out, and then we can start installing the new setup. Alright, so now I'm just going to kind of get this stuff organized. I'll just push this out of the way for now. I will remove this negative cable. This was for a sound system I had in here, an amp and a couple sub and some speakers in here. I'm going to go ahead and remove that as well. Alright, so I went ahead and set the base plate of the kit down inside the cubby here along the body of the car. So how you do it is this line right here should follow the contour of the body of the car. Also, these two mounting holes right here should be pretty close to center. They're not exactly centered, but they're pretty close to the stamped holes in the car. And then of course these two right here should be where you can drill the holes and then put the rib nut in and tighten everything down. Same with the back piece right here. So next thing I'm going to do is, before I do any marking or anything like that, I'm actually going to set my battery down in here, and just to make sure that I can actually close the lid. So hopefully if I'm able to do that, I'll pull the battery back out, then I'll go ahead and mark the holes, drill them, rib nut them, and then it should be pretty close to done after that. Okay, so I got the battery sitting down in here. It's close, but I think it will fit. So I'm going to go ahead and try and close this. It appears that it fits, so that's good. So yeah, I was a little worried that I wasn't going to fit properly, even though it was supposed to fit with this battery, which it does, so that's good. So I'm gonna pull the battery back out, we'll get all the holes marked and drilled. So battery fits. This thing seems to fit pretty good as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and mark all the holes, and we'll get them drilled. Just need a regular old Sharpie. This appears to be sitting in a good spot now. I will probably throw a little bit of paint down in here from the old holes just to keep them from rusting looks like any more than they already have. So I'm gonna do that real quick as well. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get the holes drilled. I'm gonna start by using this little smaller bit first, and then I'm gonna go into using this stepper bit here. That way I can get it the exact right size. You don't want to be too big with these rib nuts, because if you make the hole too big, it won't clamp down and it's pointless, and you can't make them too small obviously, because then they won't fit into the hole. So you kind of want to get them the right size. You got a little bit of room for error, but not a whole lot. So first thing we're gonna do is just drill the little pilot holes, and then we'll go from there. Broke the drill bit. I knew I shouldn't have pressed on it that hard. Alright, got these last two to go. Alright, so now we will switch over to this stepper bit. Let's see. This will fit. Nope, not even close. Maybe one more. we go. So this fit perfect. Just a tiny bit more. All right, so the next step is going to be removing this outer trim right here, and then we'll get this carpeting pulled back, and then we will take off the fiberglass piece underneath there. It's just going to be too hard to get the riv nut tool into there, so it's not too bad to take this off though, so I'm going to do that. All right, next thing I gotta do is take this metal strip off of here. So just 4 screws. And just kind of put that in a safe spot and try not to lose the screws. All right. So now I've got to take and pop up one of these little rivets right here. Let's see if I can do it without a tool. Nope, I'm gonna have to get my tool real quick. Okay, so I've got the other bin taken out, carpet pushed back. So now I got to remove this black fiberglass piece here. So there's, looks like 3 screws back in this area right here. There's 3 right here, and then there's 2 down in here. 1 here, 1 here, and then same thing for the other side. So I got to remove those, and once I get those out, then we can really get start getting everything installed and put back together. All right, so we'll get these riv nuts put in real quick. Before I move on from this second one, I'm gonna check to make sure that these aren't stripping out. If they are, I'm gonna switch over to the ones that I have that are a little bit stronger. So I decided to go ahead and change out the riv nuts to ones that I have here. So these little aluminum ones, they was just stripping out whenever I would try and put them in. This one here is fine, but this other one here starts stripping out. So if it's going to strip out over just that little bit of force, I don't want to take a chance of getting into an accident or something and then they just pull right out. So hopefully I don't have to re-drill any of this, but if I do, I do. All right, so let's try this again. That's a lot better there. Okay, so the next step of this is to lay the tray on a workbench or even on the floor or whatever, but the workbench will be a little easier. Then you're going to take the battery and you're going to set it on top of the tray. And what we're doing is we're trying to measure how high we need these threaded rods to be. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of the washers, you're going to shove this down through here, take one of the washers and put it on, and then you're going to put one of the nuts on. If I can get it, it'll be great. Good Lord. Here we go. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that these rods don't stick up too tall. So I'm going to put mine down, put this over it like this. And I think that will be good enough, like that. So the bottom of mine is probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch from the bottom. So, and then what we got to do is take another washer, slide it down on there, and then we're going to take another nut and slide it on there. For some reason, there we go. So there we go. So now, as you see, this is standing straight up like it should be. We'll tighten these down here in just a minute. So what I got to do is I got to slide this around, and I got to do the same thing to the other side. Now we can go ahead and start getting this thing bolted in. So I want to get all this stuff lined up. Make sure you tighten these two nuts right here before you put this in. So. I'm gonna have to lengthen this one a little bit. Hopefully I don't have to cut it. I shouldn't have to. It's supposed to be plug and play, I guess you'd say. It's in for now, and then I'm gonna set this the battery in place. All right, we're back. So I had issues with this riv nut and this riv nut coming loose, and then the hole ended up being too big. So I'm hoping I don't have no issues with any of the other ones now. So I ended up putting an M8 riv nut in there rather than the M6 that it came with. So hopefully no more issues. So it looks like everything kind of lines up. The only thing I do have to check is to see if I need to drill this hole here and this hole here out bigger. So let's see if I need to do that. Yeah, I might need to drill it just a little bit bigger. All right, so to give myself a little bit more adjustability to this thing, I went ahead and drilled these holes out just a little bit bigger, just to give them a little bit there. So let's get all these put in. All right, so the battery fits in there. Just had to make a couple little adjustments there. So now we can put this top piece on, put everything back together. So now I can take and put this on. All right, if this stupid wing nut would go on, it'd be set. There we go. All right, so that's installed. All the bolts and stuff are tight. So I just gotta reconnect the grounds and run these wires here. So I'm gonna do that real quick and then I will be back. Now we're gonna go ahead and change out the terminals for the battery. I'll start with the negative one. Let's see if I have to change out this end. I don't think I'm gonna have to, so that's good. If I do, I could always just cut this down, crimp it. I might do that. I might just go ahead and cut this off the length I need it. Okay, so I got that one on. Now it's just, I'm going to put the little green felt pad onto the negative terminal. Actually, I'm just going to use the little one. What I did is I just cut the one side of this cable here off and rotated it around. So everything's good now. I ran the wire from the Haltech to the positive side, put the terminal on. Same thing with all the negative stuff, got the negative put on. Everything's nice and tight. So what I want to do is make sure that the car turns on, or at least powers on. It should turn on if it powers on. And then I'll kind of clean up all this stuff, get it all pushed back into here and get it nice and zip tied. Same with this one. I'll probably just do a small little zip tie right here. And then I can start putting everything back in. I do want to remove all this stuff here, or at least tuck it out of the way. Alright, so I got everything kind of zip tied and tucked away. I got those other two wires that were up in here for the old amp, and I pulled those out of the car. Got these zip tied. I wish it was a little longer, but it's not. Maybe at some point I'll extend it. So yeah, so everything's in. It's tight. It's bolted to the car real good. So now I can just put everything back together. So that's going to be the tedious part, but yeah, so I'm going to get started on that. car is cleaned up, or at least this side is. Been vacuumed and everything. It's all put back in place. So the battery, oops, there we go. Battery relocation is where it's supposed to be. So everything is on. I'm going to try and start it real quick. Everything's running, everything seems normal. So no lights on other than the door and the brake. So okay, so that is done. The LRBspeed battery relocation mount is in the RX-7. So so now it is much cleaner, much safer. It's tied down. It's not just loose in that box where if something was to happen, get into an accident, it would fly around and potentially kill you. You don't want anything loose inside the car, especially a battery that weighs 40 pounds or 50 pounds, whatever they weigh. Not too bad of an install. The worst thing about it was the riv nuts. The riv nuts caused them, or they stripped out when I would put them in. So I have a bunch of them here at the house. So I just used some different ones that I had. So I would suggest going to Lowe's, picking up some riv nuts before you start this. That way you can use some different ones instead of the ones that came with the kit. Other than that, the kit is great. It's nice. Seems like it's pretty sturdy. I would rate the install probably I don't know, maybe a 2 out of 10, only because of the riv nuts, or I should say 2 out of 5 because of the riv nuts. But if the riv nuts were a little bit better, it would be like a 1 out of 5. As far as overall quality of the kit, I would say it's a 9 out of 10. It's well made, it's cut, it fits nicely. The only reason it misses that one is because of those riv nuts. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if it helped you out, that's great. Please comment, like, subscribe. I do appreciate y'all watching the videos. I enjoy making the videos. I know they're still a little clunky or whatever, but I am not a director. I don't make movies. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.